Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, what up, what up, what up? Hey, it's your boy Joe Prophet. Want to welcome you to another episode of Punch Count with my player partner, Ace Bug. You know what I'm saying?
What it
Urban
go, what
Project.
it go.
You feel me? I think we got. Oh, there we go. Was a round of applause, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that shit. Yeah, nigga, we done elevated a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Now listen, man. We got a good one for y'all today. You see the topic of the show. We talking Brian Norman turning down 1.5 million to fight Boots Ennis. And host of the little, we talking Shakur, Cordina, and we talking the WBO mandating Fundora and Bud. Mm, mm. Man, hey, listen. Well, I mean, let's start off with the obvious and the evident and the popular. Brian Norman Jr. It's been said that my guy, B. Norman Jr., and Team Norman have turned down 1.5, somewhere upwards of 1.7 million to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. Uh, it was hard for me to believe. I tried to reach out to Senior. I didn't get a response. Uh, but I listened to him talk, and when I listened to him talk, kind of confirmed, you know, what Eddie Hearn said. You know, he kind of stated that the first offer was bullshit. The second offer was, a third of what Boots made or half of what Boots made. And then the last offer was half of what Boots made. So, with those numbers being out there, I just went did my research and was blown away seeing that Boots Ennis made 3.3 million in his last fight.
Yep.
Damn, Boots. I mean, shout out to Boots. That's amazing. Definitely didn't think he was bringing in that kind of cash, and ain't really fought nobody, ain't really done nothing in the division. Got a couple all right names on his resume. You know, uh, Ace, what you think, man? How you feeling about, you know, Brian Norman and Team Norman supposedly turning down 1.5, upwards of 1.7 to fight Jerron Boots Ennis in a unification bout in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, November 9th, man? How you feeling about that?
I mean, first and foremost, I believe that both of them is lacking on betting on themselves. I think Brian Norman should take whatever they offering. Of course, not no peanuts or nothing crazy, but he should take whatever they offering because this is a huge opportunity that it might be another 3 years before you get any type of name on your resume. The way boxing goes sometimes. So why not take the opportunity and bet on yourself? But the same thing go for Boots because I'm also hearing, yeah, they offered 1.7 to fight in Philadelphia. But Brian
Mm-hmm.
Norman's side is saying, yeah, we'll take the 1.7. Let's make it in Vegas though. That's neutral ground, and they still getting less money. So I do think that's a fair argument. And then they also saying, we make it in Philly, but give us 2 million. So just depending on the budget of the fight and how much they putting on the fight, how much whoever paying for the fight, which would be the zone, I guess. Whoever, they got the money. So however much money they putting into this fight, I don't think 2 million is too much to be asking for. I know that that's a big pay raise, but I don't think it's too much because Boots is still getting the better share of it. And all of the champions are complaining about being lowballed. So at some point, you got to satisfy one of them. Two belts, then you can start lowballing people, right?
I mean, I would think so. I would like to think that. I kind of felt where Norman Seaman was coming from as far as them kind of being equal, coming to being an equal playing field, coming to the table and things like that. But I mean, Boots does have a little bit more leverage as far as clout, and he can sell out arenas. He's done it before. It's documented. Brian Norman's kind of I don't even know the correct term that I want to use to define him because He'll go anywhere. He'll fight you anywhere. Nah, he's shown that. But he ain't really done nothing in his hometown. He's not a big ticket seller, But at the same time, never had the opportunity to be a big ticket seller. So this is his first time. I don't know, man. I feel some type of way about it because I want the fight to happen. One, okay, I want the fight to happen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, man, come on, Team Norman. We talking all this shit about Boots. We saying if he's standing there in front of us, we're gonna stop him. This, that, and the third. And then at the end of the day, I mean, we really just don't do anything. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, I do understand that you want to get a certain amount of money because you go have to split your money up and pay different people. So if they offering 1.7, you're not necessarily getting that 1.7. But like I started off with, I think both of them need to just bet on themselves in the situation. Whether it's Brian Norman taking the 1.5 or fighting in Philly or whatever the situation is, and Boots actually just being like, well, you know what, man, we go throw him that 2 million he looking for so we can get this done. What I'm saying is it's on both fighters to make it happen. Y'all got to come to some type of terms or agreement, or we just ain't gonna have no undisputed champion at 147 because we see y'all don't want to fight each other. Not that bad, at least.
Yeah, and we spoke about this earlier because I really felt like if they are if you want 2 million and they offering 1.7 and your highest payday is 180,000. Come on, bro. It's not the time to be holding your nuts on them. Not yet. You young in the game. Like it's not. It's okay if every deal don't go your way. I mean, you can take less. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's not fair. It happens. But you beat this guy in his hometown. I'm pretty sure moving forward, it's gonna work in your favor. I mean, this is how the game goes. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now Boots hasn't necessarily earned this right, but it's just like that. You know what I mean? They was wanting him to fight Bud. They were wanting him to fight Spence. They're gone out the division. He's there. I mean, it kind of just fell in his lap. Typical,
And
you know what I mean? But
I think it go both ways though. I think that Boots also needs to fight a lot. Even though he's the A side, the ball might be in his court. And and for me, it's even more of a reason why you should make the fight. Because you are the A side. You do have the advantages in these contracts. You are getting paid more. So why not just be like, man, fuck it. I'm still getting more. I'm still getting paid good, and I'm finna fight for a belt.
all right, but check this out though, Ace. You hold your nuts and you say this is what I'm taking there else. Now you about to go fight a lower level guy for less money. Way less money.
Yeah. So
Oh, you know what I mean? Is it
Eddie,
really smart business? Or you know what I mean?
because you got to think about it like this as well. He finna fight Boots. It ain't like Boots is some walk in the park fight.
Sure. Sure.
Even if you feel like you go beat him, it ain't like this guy is just somebody you just go get in there and beat, and it's gonna be easy and it's written out for you.
Right. It's
So
gonna
he
be
probably
tough for him
feel
for sure.
like if this go be one of my mega fights and one of my biggest fights and biggest challenges, I need to at least get this much. I'm looking at it like the nigga probably just want to at least see an M. He like, just in case I do lose, I want to at least see that M by the end of the fight. At
But
the
Ace,
least.
I feel that, but you ain't never seen 500,000. You never seen 300,000.
So that's the reason why he go and fight the regular fight then. And he go build his way up to them 500,000s and 300,000s. But the thing is, like I said, they should
Yeah,
both be
he'll get a lion's share. Yeah.
they should both be betting on themselves though. Cause if not, y'all just gonna be in a bunch of bogus fights. Eventually the shit ain't gonna keep working for Boots. And it ain't gonna keep working for Brian Norman, even though he young. Cause people go look at the record and they go, damn, you got fucking 40 fights, you still ain't fought nobody.
Right.
Defended your belt against who?
Some people gonna ask that, but there's some people we know these people in Philly. They love Boots. They think he could whoop everybody, and they
I
feel
don't
like his resume is stupendous.
I,
You know
I
what I mean?
don't
They feel,
I don't think the hardcore fans, I don't think all of them feel like that in Philly. I think it's some objective people in Philly who probably look at shit and be like, "Nah, that ain't what he should be doing." You know what I mean? He should be
right.
doing a little bit better than this, because both of them got a good amount of fights. It ain't no reason to not be challenging yourself, and you should be trying to take these risks. I feel like.
Yeah,
Why
I
wait
mean,
like Bud and Spence did? Why wait that long when you can take the risk now? You can get it done, already
right.
have it under your belt, whoever win, because it's a good win for both of them.
Facts.
Boots need it because it's like, okay, you did get an elite guy out of there, and you are like that. You are what they are promoting you to be. You are really like that because you just did this and dominated a guy like Brian Norman, and you let this nigga get paid more.
But it's people that feel like Boots. Let's go down this resume real quick, man. It's people. All right, look, okay. It's people that say that this resume is something to be revered upon. All right, let's look. I'm looking at it right now. The only credible name I see on here, Sergey Lipinets. I guess you could say Chris Van Heerden, because he was in there with Errol Spence.
Nah, we ain't putting that on.
Thomas
Um,
Delorme.
even
Mm,
so, even though are those names, no. Sergey Lipinet's a 140 pounder going up to fight a fucking 147 pounder that probably should be at 154. Dude's
damn
big.
near 160 shit. Depending, you know what I'm saying?
Um, Thomas Delorme, he ain't been good for a while.
Yeah.
He's old. He had to be old when he fought Boots.
He was like 25-5 when he fought Boots.
And then Van Herden, we ain't even give that win to Spence as if that was somebody on this resume. So we definitely ain't
Right.
gonna say it's just somebody on Boots' resume just because Spence fought him. Because that was never one of the names we mentioned when we go through Spence's resume, right?
Right. I literally had to look at the resume to see that he was on there. Definitely didn't even remember, you know what I'm saying? I didn't remember that was one of the dudes he beat on there, you know what I mean? Not because, we talk about it, and I've heard like, because we think that we think Brian Norman has a better record, a resume than Boots Ennis. But then you got some that'll argue that, Boots has the notable names on his record. Boots has fought guys with more experience. Uh, to
Yeah,
that
for the
you say what?
majority. For the majority, yeah. But I think they last couple of fights, I think Brian Norman been getting the tougher fights. Now it might not look like that on paper. One of them does. His last fight definitely looked like it smoked anybody on Boots' resume.
Right.
But it probably don't look like that on paper, but you can watch the fight and see like, okay, this guy is tougher than what I might have known because I didn't know about this dude. I just didn't know who he was, but he is pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
Versus
sure.
with Boots, he getting, all the OG niggas that's supposed to go in there and lose and supposed to go in there and collect the check. We already know what's going on, but he looked good while doing it though. So that's what he's supposed to do.
And it's crazy. As soon as this fight came up, then you start looking at Norman's resume, and you see this no contest. And I don't know if you actually went and saw that fight, the no contest, but this Boachia Janelson, hey man, he got some. Even though he got 2 losses, he surprised Norman early in that fight. He dropped him early in the first round. Luckily for Norman, it was towards the end of the first round, but he definitely had my man on wobbly legs. They both had nasty cuts. The fight ended up getting stopped because of the headbutt, the incidental headbutt. But in that fight too, I mean, even though Boachia, he dropped him, he did some dirty ass shit. Like he caught him with a straight bow. Like he threw the hook and just turned it into like a, you know what I'm saying, a piercing bow blow. It was crazy, bro. I was just like, man, you know what I mean? Yeah. But other than that, that guy, he's cool. You know what I mean? Like I said, he was what 17-2. He was a tough fight. Like I say, caught him with straight right.
And you can get caught. I mean, people.
He caught, and then he came back and won a title. So it's like, I mean, he's showing grit. He's showing he can come, get hit, come back, no problem. But like I say, the turning down of the money is just, man, I can't. That's the shit that's getting me. I'm just like, bro, if the highest you've ever made is 180 bands and you see 1.7 or 1.5 on the table, and then you want to, turn into Warren Buffett and start trying to break. Come on, dog. Like, bro.
But that's
You
probably
start talking about who you got to pay and taxes and all that. Well, you was going to have to pay that anyway. So when you go fight this lower dude and get way less money, you still going to have to pay taxes and pay people. Like, that shit ain't going nowhere.
But that's most likely not coming from him, and that's more coming from his team.
I agree with that.
Because the fighter go feel like, yeah, I can beat this nigga ass, but the team probably feel like how I'm saying, this is a dangerous fight. No matter how you want to slice it, even if you do feel like you can win, this is a dangerous fight. This is a fight you can definitely lose. This can stop the Brian Norman train.
Right.
If
And
there
vice
is
versa,
one
too.
rolling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, for sure.
And vice versa, too. All right, man. Let's go and switch gears, bro. Shakur Stevenson, Joe Cordina. How are we feeling about that? Because we wasn't too surprised to see Shakur Stevenson signing with Matchroom. Eddie Herman showing him love, having the front row at the fights. Typical. So we kind of seen it coming, rolling out of the red carpet. So he signs him. Shakur says he wants the biggest and best fights. This is what he said. First fight up, Joe Cordina. How you feel about that?
This is what we get. He's right next to me.
Oh, wow. Look at him. Coming off a TKO loss. So it's like, I mean, I kind of get it. You know what I mean? I see what they're trying to do, maybe.
I don't think Cordina is like a terrible fighter, but he definitely not on Shakur level. And at this point of his career, it's like, come on, man, you got to do better than that, Eddie. It's like, are you doing this to kind of fuck him over or something? Because this ain't the type of move that somebody like him should be making, especially the hot water he been putting himself in recently. He need a good fight. And then I heard in the interview, this was like earlier today, Eddie Hearn was sitting there like, yeah, this and Jose Cepeda. And I hope he was mixing those names up because nobody want to see Jose Cepeda versus Shakur. Now, William Cepeda, that'd be cool, but Jose Cepeda, come on, man.
Ain't nobody looking for that, dog.
He needs something meaningful, just like Boots do right now. He definitely needs something meaningful because the difference between him and Boots, he was an Olympian, so he had all type of hype on him.
Right. They were saying, he's like pretty boy. They're comparing all these dudes to Floyd. He's got the most comparable style to Floyd, this, that, and the third. No problem. But my thing is, when you say you want the biggest names and the toughest fights, and out the gate, you fighting one of these mid-tier weak names. This is why I'm confused.
Let me put the gunshot for that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where I'm confused, man. Like, I don't understand that. You know what I mean? And I know Eddie Hearn is a finesser. No problem. I get it. But I'm just like, but I can't even just blame Shakur because I'm looking at Tank too. Like, what the hell is Tank about to do? Lomachenko went on vacation. I ain't never heard a boxer saying I'm going on vacation. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. He's the first person I've ever heard publicly say, I'm going on vacation. But then he shows up. He shows up at the fight, ready to fight. He ain't signing no paperwork, but he's at Riyadh season looking for Shakur. or Shakur passed him, or however it went down. I don't really know. Don't really matter. But I thought she was on vacation. I didn't already did this, man. I thought you was supposed to be with your family, the kids, your wifey, somewhere outside Ukraine, somewhere or something. I don't know where y'all be going out there for vacation. But it can't be Los Angeles, California, right? Nah, ain't no way in hell. Like you came to LA.
You never know. They be out here in California.
I mean, LA's the place to be, though. I ain't gonna lie. LA is lit.
You never
It
know.
is. It is. I love LA. But I'm not gonna go on vacation to LA.
Loma's a good fight, of course, for anybody, but I see him on his way out anyway. I think whatever he's trying to do is gonna be strategic and some big money behind it. I don't think he gonna really risk himself too much.
Mm.
Loma just a whole different topic that I can go in on this dude all day.
Man, listen, and that's facts. Look, I wanna hear what other people feel about this Brian Norman and Booth situation. So we're gonna go to the lines real quick, man. I got my guy Ill Will here from Long Beach, California. Hey, Will, how you feel about
Give him an applause.
Brian Norman turning down 1.5 upwards of 1.7 million to fight Boots Ennis in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? How you feel about that?
We can't hear you.
I don't know what he's doing. All right, are you there?
We got another caller.
Man. Anyway, let's go back to where we at? We talking about Shakur and Cordina, man. I thought he wanted to talk about it, but I guess not. Shakur and Cordina. I mean, it's supposed to be a 2-fight deal. I guess we're gonna see how it goes. We see how it goes. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. The 2-fight deal. Eddie supposedly said it's supposed to be Jose and Cordina.
bro.
And I'm like, I hope it ain't Jose Zepeda because they think they go throw the fans off with the Zepeda last name and had them thinking it's William Zepeda. You know what I mean?
Listen, if it was Willie Zepeda, I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with Willie Zepeda. I'd be cool with that. But Joe Cordina, you bringing a guy from the weight class down who just came off a stoppage loss. Like, what are we trying to prove? And if he doesn't knock this guy out, oh my God.
And then I thought that Jose Zepeda fought at 140. And that's why I'm like, I hope that it was a name mix up and he mixed the names up and he meant William Zepeda.
Yeah, he probably mixed the name up. He probably hold up, hey, we got somebody. We got my man from DC in the crib. Boy, JM pulled up. Hey, JM, look, we were talking about the Brian Norman Boots Ennis situation and him turning down the money. What do you think about that?
So you want me to talk here or on YouTube? You tell me that.
You on YouTube right now? You on? We can hear you. Can you hear?
Okay.
Yep, loud and clear.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Let me give him applause real quick.
Question for me, please.
All right. So my question is, what are your thoughts and feelings on Boots Ennis offer to Brian Norman Jr. and Team Norman turning down the offer of 1.5 upwards of 1.7 million dollars? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's egregious given the fact that he just fought for $180,000 in his last fight, and in terms of a box office seller, a pay-per-view seller, a B-side fighter in this fight that if he can do what he said he was going to do to Boots, this is the opportunity to do that with 15 times the biggest payday in his career. So I think it's egregious. But I also think I wouldn't have ever went that direction in the first place. But now that he's here, I think it's a bad look.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one, and it's crazy because I'm definitely pro Norman. Like I was really looking for that me. And Ace, we've been kind of clamoring and talking about this fight for a little minute now, like a couple weeks. We kind of looked at the landscape of the division.
Announced.
Yeah, before it was even announced, for sure. And I mean, I even talked to B Norman myself before this was announced. Let him know that I knew him and Boots was the fight at 47. But the fact that it's come to this, and I'm hearing, I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie to you, because just like you say, for him to his highest payday to be 180,000, and then he has 1.5 on the table, 1.7 on the table. I don't even know what we're discussing. Like, we're gonna take whatever. If it's not what we want right now, cool. We handle business. We do what we're gonna do. Then when we come back to the negotiating table, it's gonna be a different conversation. You know what I mean? All the yeah.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't fight him, he'll be fighting Dietrich Cuevas for a $300,000 purse.
Come on.
So
still got to pay the same taxes. Still got to pay the same people.
Who will Boots be fighting though? And JM hear me?
Boots will be fighting. He'll be fighting a rematch versus Karen, and he'll still be touching M's. And it's prize fighting, so I think that's the purpose. Not necessarily who you're fighting, but the money that you're making for doing your job.
And so the lines, moving forward, Brian Norman is going to be getting.
One more question. One more
ahead,
question. My bad.
No, go ahead.
So who needs to fight more? Who's further into their career, and who has more demand on having that type of fight? Because the momentum is on Boots.
I think that's a two-part question. Who needs it more? I think if you got the kind of deal that Boots has, where he has a machine behind him that's going to pay him, I would say Brian Norman needs it more, because Boots is a growing commodity, a growing asset that has the machine behind him. So I would say that Brian Norman needs it most, especially if he's getting the biggest payday of his career. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. That first question, I didn't really hear the other question.
What was the second part to your question?
Yo.
Okay. All right. Yo, Maniac, you live, man.
Okay.
All right. So listen, you live right now. So
what we live on?
On YouTube. You're on YouTube.
Oh, what's happening YouTube? Maniac McGee in the building.
All right. Shout out to my partner. All right. So the question is this, man. We talking about Brian Norman turning down 1.5, upwards of 1.7 million from Team Ennis. What are your thoughts on that? What do you feel about that? What do you feel about him turning down the money and going in a different direction?
Well, I got 3 words for you, Joe, and 3 words for you, too. Pathetic. Pathetic.
Okay.
My biggest question is, how do you feel? You're a big Brian Norman fan.
I do like him.
He this and he that. So what I want to know is, how do you feel about him turning it down? Because to my knowledge, he only got like 100 and some thousand his last fight, and now you want to turn down over 1.5 million because you feel like because you have a belt, you deserve that. Like, come on, bro. Like, what we talking about? Like, Joe, like I know, something like this that's glaring in your face, this is an obvious duck, bro.
Yeah.
This is obvious duck. And if you don't want to call him a duck, if you think duck is a strong word, I'm gonna say avoid. I'm gonna just say avoid it.
Yeah.
He obviously avoided poop. And this is the strategy nowadays that a lot of people use. It's a big issue. People do that shit all the time. That's exactly how Tiafimo escaped from fighting Devin for so many fucking years. He
Right.
quote unquote priced himself out, right? Get the fuck out of here. How you price yourself out and he's sitting here working with Top Rank? That don't even make sense.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean, yeah.
Brian Norman turning it down. Let me know that I don't want to speak ill word on them. It kind of give me the crash and burn vibe. We're here for a
Crash
good
and
time,
burn.
not a long time. Yeah, we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Who is this talking?
We're trying to cash out. We're trying to cash out. We're trying to cash out because we're not even supposed to be here in the first place. That's what kind of vibe it give me.
Who is this talking?
This is Maniac McGee from Atlanta, Georgia. And it's crazy, you know, because you would think he'd be pro Norman as well. But, you know, the gist I get from hearing this conversation, he's not too fond of the guy.
Hold on, real quick, Joe.
Shout out to Lunatic Libertarian, my dog. Shout out to Lunatic for giving us our first gift on the show, man. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, real
at 199, looking fine. You know what I'm talking about? All right, that's cool. That's cool.
But you know, we respect all of our guests, so we go give Maniac McGee an applause real quick.
Yeah, I know. You know, shout out my boy Chuck. He says Sanchez just shouted himself out. You know, doing just typical moves. He's typical.
Well, I had a little technical difficulty for a minute, so I had to get caught up.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, listen. I got my.
Yeah, it's all good. While you were going, I was speaking some knowledge into the young buck, Joe, that we have here on my show. I'm sorry I was late, everybody. He started the show off for me, but I am here and I'm willing to take any and every question that you guys have about boxing because I know what I'm talking about. So let's do it, y'all. I'm here.
Let's
go. Right, so I'm gonna ask you something serious.
I know I'm playing. Y'all go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm gonna ask you something serious. How long did it take for your eye to heal up the first time it got swollen from a good shot?
Probably about 2.5 weeks. Yeah, about 2.5 weeks.
That's actually
all right. Hey, look, man, we got another guest in the house, man. We got Lunatic in the crib. Hey, Lunatic, the question on the floor right now is Brian Norman. How do you feel about Team Norman turning down $1.5 million from Team Ennis and then moving on in another direction? You know, to that you say what? How you feel about that, man?
Thanks for having me on the show. My opinion on this is that I think that if you're an up-and-coming fighter and you have the opportunity to fight on a main stage against a name that is right now synonymous in boxing as being a trainer and a boxer and somebody from Philadelphia that's ready to handle business with anybody. And we've seen him dominate smaller fighters. And a lot of it, pundits in boxing say he's a big individual for the weight class to begin with. But if you're about the business, then as a fighter, being about the business is in the ring. It has nothing to do about what you're getting paid or any of that, because we've seen old school fighters take pennies on the dollar to make themselves into a name that historians can recount when they bring up the sport of boxing. So my opinion about this is I think this is a bad move by their camp, and
you mean
I think
Team
that
Norman?
I think that Norman's making a mistake here. I'd say even at half the money or even a quarter of the money, take that fight. And then all that mess you talking online, prove it in the ring.
I mean, I can't even be. I can't say that I disagree with that, man, because I mean, like I say, I'm pro Norman, man, and I definitely want that fight. I just don't see how you turn down the biggest payday in your career, and then you turn around and fight somebody for damn near peanuts to that, like and but at the same time, I did hear a theory. I believe it was from JM a couple of days ago that if he just uses his WBO status as champion, about 2 fights in or whatever, you know what I mean? That way, those purses, he's taking the lion's share of those purses. So for you guys that don't know, when you're the WBO champion and you fight a mandatory contender for the belt, the champion gets 75% of that purse, and then the challenger gets the other 25. So, he suggested that Norman fight a couple fights and using this, get his money up. Maybe, probably in that process, maybe get another title from another champion, come back to the table. It's a different story. I can see that too. But I can't see that turning down no damn 1.7 million. I'm sorry. I just cannot see that.
I mean, we
Especially
saying 1.7 million, like that's just
but that's
crazy.
half of 3.3.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
Pop said it out his own mouth.
No, I'm not saying the numbers ain't valid. I'm
If
saying
we
we saying that like those numbers are just like outstanding numbers. Like he can't ever make more in his.
Hold on,
career.
wait. So you mean it
for him and
go ahead.
for him in the position that he's in? Yes, those are outstanding numbers.
Not even a position. If
What
the
position
highest
is
pay
he
that
in,
you've ever had is
'Cause I feel like-
180,000, Jesus Christ. Anything over $1 million is wonderful. Wonderful.
Exactly.
Anything over
Anything
500K
close to
is
it.
wonderful. Like
So
you
he's
only made
Exactly.
180,000.
So he
We
gonna
don't
touch
turn
the
that
whole
down.
million.
But you know what kind of normie though? Like you get that kind of
Is he gonna
money,
touch the
and then
whole
you immediately
million?
start talking about taxes like you've been in that tax bracket.
Y'all want to do this? Let's do it. Is he gonna touch the whole million?
But that's cool. Okay. He finna fight old buddy. He finna fight old buddy for 300,000. Is he gonna touch the whole 300K?
Because we already spoke that this is a
at
risk.
1.7, at 1.7, somebody like Brian Norman, yes, he might just be able to touch the 1 million because $700,000 for somebody like him and fees, he might not even have to use the whole 700,000.
Well, 25% of that purse is gonna go to Top Rank off the jump. So everybody else, that's not included yet.
Cool. So we complain about everybody getting a little more money. I don't get it. Listen.
1.7.
I'm saying is he go because you're saying anything over $1 million is
ain't
cool.
that much.
That's why I'm
Like
asking, is he
his
gonna
trainer,
touch
his
the
trainer
million?
fee might be like 5 or 6% for real. His trainer fee might be 5%. His manager fee might, his manager and his trainer is obviously his fucking dad. Look like, or Top Rank his promoter. But yeah, his manager and shit might be his dad. So that might be just one fucking fee for real. So yeah, he might be able to still eat off that 700,000 and the 1 million.
Shout out to Ty25. He said, "Man, Boots beats the hell out of Brian."
Exactly.
What do you mean exactly? I don't think that.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know why he turned down the money.
Look, the same way. Look, this is why I said this from the jump. It's still a risk for Brian Norman. Whether he feel like he can win or he feel like he better, it's still a risk. And I'm pretty sure him, his team, whoever involved, they know, hey, this is a fight you can lose. This is one of those fights. So let's get what we at least feel like we worth. Maybe he feel like he worth a little bit more than 1.5 million. Or he's saying that he'd take the 1.7 million, but we ain't doing it in Philly. Because maybe the money and the taxes is different. I don't know the details on that.
No, bro. There's just no way you can try to dress that up to be like, I feel like I'm in this tax bracket, or I feel like I deserve this because I deserve more than 1.7 million because I just won the belt when I was just making 180,000. That it just don't make sense. Like, so why would you turn down 1.7 million and then you about to go fight somebody that's probably unknown, that's not gonna do you no favor.
But
it's not gonna do you no favors for real.
As well,
then, but you're gonna fight. But you're gonna go and you're gonna turn this down and go fight them for what now? 260,000?
300, and you still got to give 25% the top rank.
Exactly. So
300.
make
No,
it make sense.
it's different if he on his side of the street.
And then if you really believe in what you're saying and what your dad is saying, and you beat Boots, you got 1.7 in your pocket and a belt. So now next time I might ask for 5.
But I'm not against
You
that
turn
though
it
either
down.
though, because
This don't even make sense. Bro.
like I said from the beginning of the live, I feel like they both got to bet on themselves though, because the same way that Brian Norman should just take the 1.5 because he feel like he can win, I feel like Boots should be willing to get a nigga 2 at the minimum, 2 million at the minimum. I know they at least got 6-7 million.
But you saying, bro, that is that is almost bro, that's so much more money than he's ever touched in his life, bro. Like, what the fuck are we caring about his taxes and all that shit for? That is not something that fucking matters.
This man. Look, hey, look.
Bro, just let me clear $1 million, bro. I gotta pay everybody. Come on, man.
This man almost touched a couple 100,000, and then said,
So if I'm gonna take, hold on.
1.5.
If I'm gonna take one of the riskiest fights in boxing, so you
Right.
saying I'm gonna put a price on myself and say, yeah, I'm only worth that 1.5. I'm gonna take that. Cause if I end up losing,
No, it ain't.
Hold on. Cause if I end up losing, I'm not getting 180,000 no more. I might get 50,000 my next fight, depending on how it go.
Mm.
If you saying I'm supposed to just be quick, that's why I'm saying I understand. I feel like they both supposed to be betting on themselves. Boots can do the same thing because he should understand the risk.
But it's in Boots. It's in his favor right now. Ace. It's in Boots' favor.
Throw himself out there to the wolves. He ain't willing to take less.
But at this point, he don't have to take less because his people paying for everything.
Right, no, he needs
because
a fight.
his people paying for everything.
He needs a fight
Exactly.
though.
But Ace, his people are paying for
Didn't
everything.
Eddie Hearn just say that he don't want the Karen fight? Didn't he just say that loud?
He did. He did.
Stuff about it, wasn't he? Because he know Boots need a fight. I guarantee Eddie Hearn
one thing
feeling
I
like,
would say,
why I got Boots, I want to be able to do something for him. And giving him a
one thing I would say is that there's been a lot of online talk, especially from the Norman camp. And when you say that you rejected an offer that's 10 or 15 times your highest payday and said, well, we threw a counter offer, I don't understand if you are bringing the fight up and it has been said that there's an offer for $1.5 million to your camp. And then you're saying how you beat him up in sparring, you did this, you did that, woo to woo to woo. There is no question to me that now all that noise is capped because you didn't accept the offer that's 15 times your highest payday.
Yeah, but he definitely didn't say he beat him up in sparring. The the other day we had to go through that. I thought he was saying that he got the best of him, but he didn't say it.
He said in the first sparring session, he said Boots got the best of him.
Yeah.
He said
even in the other ones, it felt like he was kind of saying Boots got the best of him still, but he did better.
But he was getting better.
A fight is a fight. We still want to see a good fight. I don't think Boots been in there with somebody who can really challenge him in no type of way. So, I mean, maybe Karen did with the footwork, but he still won every round. If you think he didn't win every round, then you fucking crazy. So it's no argument on he wasn't really challenged. I think Brian Norman can at least win a couple of rounds. Do we disagree on that? Do you think that
Brian Norman can beat Boots?
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. You think Boots with 30 fights and all this clout, all this momentum that he got, need to take another Karen fight or something?
Yeah. I mean, the way Eddie was talking, they don't want it either. They know it don't make no sense. Like he already beat the guy, Eddie know it don't make sense. And I was glad to hear that too, because I thought they was like that's what they were like planning, but nah. He even said he was like what he said, the ridiculous IBF made this crazy mandatory. And they be stripping motherfuckers. So that's why it's like if he don't fight Karen, he gonna have to vacate that belt.
I've been hearing rumors about him possibly vacating and moving up.
Right, to 154.
Yeah. Which,
Yeah, it should
you
be all
know,
right.
it's plenty of good fights up there. I mean, it ain't really too much
Well,
bad fights to make.
that's exactly why when people say that they feel like the fight should marinate a little bit and da 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 da. No, I don't think Boot could be at 147 long enough for that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. I'm saying both of them should. If Brian Norman's saying, "Hey, I take the 1.7, let's do it in Vegas. Let's do it." I mean, what's the problem?
Yeah, he did say that. So
Money
let's
the
see what
same.
happens. Let's
If
see what
if
happens.
Boots is saying take this 1.5 in Philly, nigga, like how y'all saying about that, yeah, Brian Norman should probably be taking that. It
I mean,
shouldn't be
let's see.
y'all
Because remember they
acting
said
like divas at this point in y'all career when neither one of y'all really did nothing.
nothing.
It's
Yeah.
your opportunity to do something for both of them.
Right. I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, but you know what? It is what it is. To the panel again. We got some more for y'all, man. We was also talking about Shakur Stevenson and Joe Cordina and the deal with Matchroom and how it came about. I mean, I start with you, JM. Like, how do you feel about Shakur Stevenson, him signing with Matchroom, and then Joe Cordina being the first fight? How you feel about that?
I think what Shakur needs right now, he needs steak, not internet sizzle. And I think putting Joe Cordina in front of him, who does have a name in Europe, he's a Welsh guy. He's got a name in Europe. They're fighting in the Middle East, closer to his home. I would rather see him fight somebody more in their prime, somebody more of a threat. I think Joe Cordina has seen better days. But if you got him for 2 fights and you're going to give us steak in the second fight, based on Shakur being a highly criticized, maligned fighter that's got the pseudo villain hat on, if you're going to give me something good in the second fight, I can deal with Joe Cordina if these 2 fights lead to Tank Davis. If these 2 fights don't lead to Tank Davis, then they're money grabs because he's getting a reported $5 million for Joe Cordina.
Sanchez. Oh no, go ahead, Ace. I'm about to say Sanchez, same question. But go ahead.
I just wanted to know how y'all felt if Eddie Hearn, because I'm thinking he probably misquoted the name because I was watching an interview this morning with Eddie Hearn and he was saying, yeah, we got him a 2-fight deal, Joe Cordina and Jose Cepeda. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe he meant to say Willie Cepeda and he slipped up and said Jose, or I'm thinking, oh, y'all go give him a Jose Cepeda fight and try to use the Cepeda last name to sell that as if it's Willie Cepeda, the guy everybody been talking about.
Yeah, let's hope it was a slip because the only thing that I have heard him say is Willie Cepeda.
Right.
So, but that could change, and I think the fans would throw cabbage at their own TV if he gave us Jose Cepeda.
I don't think I ever heard Eddie Hearn specifically mention William Cepeda though.
I'm trying to think if I have either. I don't really know.
He might have brought him up. I don't think I ever heard him say that's a fight he got for Shakur though.
But that's the one that makes sense because I mean Zepeda's the number 1 contender damn near in every sanctioning body.
Yeah.
But Oscar's just talking crazy, and I feel like Oscar's in his feelings because Shakur ain't signed with him and was never gonna sign with him. So He starts saying stuff like, well, if you don't sign with me, the fight's not getting made. And I don't know. I really think he don't even want. I don't think he ever wanted to pay to get in there with Shakur. You know, he is the king of putting bonnets on shit. You know, Zerto. There's a lot. I mean, I ain't gonna really just disrespect Munguia like that because but a lot of these guys over there, Golden Boy, got inflated records and they ain't really done shit.
Munguia as well. He just secured a Canelo fight. So
Yeah, you know. I mean, that's one dude I was kind of surprised. I don't know how he did it, man. His career is smooth. He literally escaped both divisions without fighting either Charlo with a belt. Then he got a belt in both those divisions, or interim belt or something like that. I mean, they move Munguia pretty good. He's got great management. I got to give it to him because that motherfucker, bruh.
I think because we not a part of that fan base that follow Munguia, so we just not noticing him until he becomes a name that's a possible fight for the names we know. You know what I mean? Where
possible.
he already building a fan base somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember the one guy who was in Spain or Mexico. He was saying how big Munguia is in Mexico, I believe it was. So I think you're right, Ace. I think because we're not in that particular ecosystem, we don't know how big of a guy he really is.
Yeah.
All right, correct. Well, last but not least, man, we talking. Oh no, hold on. Matter of fact, Lunatic, what are your thoughts on that? Same question.
I think if we look at what happens when Eddie Hearns picks up fighters that have had other promotional successes, he comes out of his pocket with them. And I don't know. I think Shakur, his highest payday is in the $3.5 million range. I could be wrong, but I think that's a good number. I think that with Eddie Hearn paying him $5 million for his first fight, it's what secured Shakur Stevenson to Matchroom. And when you look at what is available from Matchroom to Shakur Stevenson, he could probably do pretty well and not have to put out as much of an effort unless he's fighting a Tank Davis. But I think that Eddie Hearn is smart enough as a businessman to get Shakur into that position, especially now that he has Riyadh money and Top Rank has Riyadh money, and PBC, I think, has Riyadh money too, just not as secured because they're not a promotional brand. So I think when we look at Shakur Stevenson going to Matchroom, it's a good move because then he can move how he wants because Eddie Hearn's flexible enough as a promoter to say, hey, if it makes money, if it's dangerous for you, not my problem. I'm not fighting. I'm just the one putting up the money and raking it in when all the tickets are sold. I think that it's smart on both ends of Eddie Hearn and Shakur Stevenson. I do not know where Top Rank is going after the big man passes away. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who knows if Bob Arum is going to stick around any longer? The man's in his mid-90s.
He ain't going nowhere.
I'm just trying to
The
figure
thing
out
is that
how does Joe Cordina become the opponent though? Because I thought Matchroom.
I think that's the opponent that was picked.
It's not.
That's my opinion on that. He was selected specifically for a reason for Shakur, and that's about the only opinion that I can have on it. I don't think that his record or his fight base has anything to do with that. He was selected specifically for Shakur Stevenson to come to Matchroom, and it's going to probably make him look spectacular. It's probably going to end in a knockout, and it's going to probably be a spectacular knockout on Shakur Stevenson's end. And it's going to make everyone happy as far as Matchroom, Riyadh season, Shakur himself, Shakur's team, because it's going to open him up for another knockout sensation so that his promotional value goes from boxer, high IQ, will stink you out, to exciting boxer, high IQ, but comes with the knockout.
Does it? Or do people go, oh, that was a guy who got knocked out his last fight by some guy I don't even know who he is?
To the average fan, I think it goes the way that I said. Because people will latch on to superficial results that a hardcore boxing fan will not. And I think that you're correct. I think that it's going to be him getting knocked out by Shakur, but you're coming off of a knockout loss.
But what if he doesn't stop him? What if he does not stop him? Then where do they go from there?
I think it lowers his stock. I think it lowers his stock. But I think he knows that. I think he absolutely knows that. I think he
knew that against Artem as well.
Putting on snooze fests. Hold on a second, Ace. I think he was strategic in putting on snooze fests so that he could get out of his top rank contract easier. Because he's not a fan favorite. The networks are going to be like, nah, he's a snooze fest. We can't have him. And that made him be like, all right, well, cool. Release me. And then Matchroom's like, yep, we'll take Shakur Stevenson, no problem. And we'll pay him $2 million more than his highest payday from Top Rank in an easy fight that he's going to get a knockout.
Go ahead, Ace.
I mean, I don't think it's any excuse for it. I hear it, but come on, man. We talking about a dude who was supposed to be fighting Tank, Devin Haney. He on this level. He was supposed to be fighting Loma, all these top names, and nothing's happening. It's like the same boot situation. Supposed to be
I think that Ace, we have to take into consideration what boxers have been taught as far as make the most money, not with the biggest names, but still get the end result to where your bank account is secured. And I think these fighters are actually implementing that strategy.
So where's that
the highest reward?
Hold on.
Where's the least amount of risk, and nobody cares about the
energy for Brian Norman when we talking about him and Boots? Then why does the energy change when we talking about Shakur Stevenson or one of these guys that the fans actually like or know about? Isn't he trying to put him in his situation?
I don't think the energy changes as far as hardcore boxing pundits or people that analyze the sport. I think people actually analyze this stuff and know what's going on. And that's why I'm sitting here saying this is what's happening. Shakur is getting the highest payday that he could ever get in his career to date. He's fighting a person coming off of a knockout that he probably knows he can knock out easily.
That's not his skill set
and his IQ. But I'm just saying that this is my opinion of where I think the individuals that are involved in this situation are thinking.
Yeah.
And Eddie Hearn is going to sell tickets just by having Shakur Stevens a part of Matchroom's boxing card. Because Eddie Hearn's talked about enough in social media platforms. I don't live in the UK, but from what I hear, he's pretty famous over there.
Who is Eddie Hearn?
Yes. I think that we, as Americans, probably glorify our knowledge a little bit more. It's the same thing with Jaime Munguia. I don't live in Mexico, but from what I hear, he is the second coming of Canelo down there. So we have to have a little bit of humility. And I'm saying that I think that a UK promoter is bringing over a USA silver medalist Olympian that is leaving probably one of the most historic running promotional companies in Top Rank.
Let me
and now he's going to a fledgling Matchroom.
Hold on, lunatic. So I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. So you telling me that Joe Cordina, the fans in the UK, they're going crazy for Joe Cordina. They ready for a Shakur and Joe Cordina fight. Because Eddie Hearn's fame ain't got nothing to do with the popularity of this fight or how fans is going to respond to it. Eddie Hearn's not throwing his hands.
We know that in the UK, that if you want to buy a $5 ticket to Wembley Stadium to watch Anthony Joshua knock out Vladimir Klitschko, to be a part of a $100,000 or 100,000 person attendance for that stadium, you can buy that ticket.
That's
And they
what
don't care who's
with
fighting.
Joe Cordina and Shakur's at Wembley.
I don't think it matters. But Ace, I'm going to tell you this. As far as UK boxing fans, if they back a fighter, they do not care who they are fighting. It doesn't matter if you're Joe Calzaghe, Ricky Hatton, if you're even from Scotland, like a Josh Taylor. Those individual people are, or even if you're from Ireland, like a Conor McGregor. If you,
I don't know what happened. Lunatic cut out. So did Joe. So I'm gonna keep the show running. Joe Cordina, nah, come on, bro. You just came off a gifted win from De Los Santos. You had a okay fight with Artem, and then you're gonna give us Joe Cordina, nah. And then we sit there, turn around, and criticize Brian Norman winning $2 million for the most riskiest fight of his career. I can't hear you, Joe.
don't hate the player, hate the game.
You hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it just, if you was gonna take $2 million, you'll take 1.7. That's all I'm saying.
He agreed to 1.7, right?
We're gonna see.
I'm just saying, didn't they say we'd take the 1.7 in Vegas?
In Vegas, we're gonna see though. I mean, only time will tell.
The difference between Earl Spence and what's the name and Boots. Spence would have definitely been like, man, give him that $2 million, let's get it.
Yep. So I can never fight again. Shit, yeah, let's give it.
I'm just saying, he got a track record of doing this, so I'm just saying I think they built different. That's why I don't believe in Boots the same way I believed in Spence and Crawford and the real champions that was at 147 previously.
I mean,
well,
hey,
Eddie Hearn already said. Eddie Hearn, Joe already said they're not fighting next. So what that means?
Okay, yeah, he
fight,
did. Yeah,
they're both going to fight these opponents,
and then meet again at the
there's
table.
a chance we might see him. Yeah,
down the line. Yeah, I mean, shit. Hopefully that ain't but he did say that, and hopefully that's not what it is though. So
remember, we was talking about Shakur and Cordina though. I just made the comparison. I ain't want us to get too far off track.
Oh no. Okay, so go ahead. You made a comparison.
Nah, I'm done with it. I'm just saying, we want to move on to the Terrence Crawford subject. Or,
Yeah. Let's talk about Bud. Let's talk about Terrence Crawford, the WBO mandating Terrence Crawford and Sebastian Fundora at 154 pounds to unify WBA, WBO, WBC. I like that. You know what I mean? I like that fight. I like everything about it. At first, I was a little nervous for Bud. You know what I mean? I don't really know how, he's going to look like in there with the Tower Inferno. But, I mean, you're going out for greatness in the next weight class. This is what comes with it. You gotta fight these kind of challenges. So I like it. Now, I don't know if Team Fundora is really with the shits, though, because, first you see reports that they say they're going to drop the belts, that they're going to, do this, that, and the third. So, I mean, I guess we're going to see what they're going to do, because if he doesn't fight Bud, he got to drop that belt. And so, I don't know. What you think about that, Ace? And then we're going to go to the panel.
I mean, of course, like anybody else, I'm going to feel like a fight with Fundora going to be a good fight. But I think Bud, of course, got the IQ and the skills to beat him.
Yeah.
I probably would have rather seen him and Tim Tszyu, but the situation that happened with him and Fundora, so that didn't play out how it probably should have. But yeah, I would have wanted to see that probably more than him and Fundora. But I think it'll be a good fight. I think Fondora a challenging fight for anybody.
No, for sure. I mean, he definitely is, especially at 154. It's gonna be an ugly fight for you. Anybody that's gotten there with that guy, it was ugly. Like, even if they came out victorious, they was battered. Like, that's just the type of fight he's gonna bring to the table. Um, Same question to the panel, man. Jan, we start with you, man. How do you feel about the WBO mandating Terrence Bud Crawford and Sebastian Fedora at 154? How you feel about that?
I think it's consistent. Bud Crawford was flown out to their headquarters in Puerto Rico, ringed with a diamond ring. And the WBO is enthusiastic to see if he could continue to attempt to make history. So he gets the opportunity with this fight to essentially be one fight away, two fights away from being 3-time undisputed. I like the fight. I think it's a challenging fight, and I don't just give this to Bud. He could lose.
Yeah, definitely. He could definitely lose. Maniac, same question to you, man. How you feeling about this Bud and Fundor mandate and possible unification? Is he there? Lunatic, let's not even waste no time with him, man. What you think, Lunatic?
I think that Fondora versus Terrence Crawford is an exciting fight. I was live for when Tim Tszyu was beating the dog shit. I apologize for swearing. I hope you don't get demonetized.
That's on some other shit, man.
Dog out of Fondora.
Yeah.
I was live for that fight, and I think that Terrence Crawford versus Tim Tszyu is a better fight for a WBO title. That's my personal opinion. If the Fondora versus Spence fight happens and Fondora wins, do they still make that fight? I don't think so. I don't think they make a Terrence Crawford versus Fondora fight, even though I think Fondora's team would accept it because they've accepted every challenge for Fondora. I think that it's very hard for that man to make 154 pounds. I don't think it's a proper weight class for him. I think that maybe 160, 168 is proper for him at his height. But we've seen him take a lot of punches, Fondora, from the likes of Erickson Lubin, from the likes of Tim Tszyu, from the likes of pretty much everybody he stepped in the ring with, to tell you the truth. He is not a very defensive fighter. I think that if Terrence Crawford gets in the ring with him, he stops Fondora easily. I think he stops a lot of
He stops Fondora easily.
I think he stops him easily. I think that the boxing skill of
I agree with everything you said, Lunatic, up until you said easily. Now, I do think he can stop him. I think Bud is better. But I don't think it's rare that you get a Spence and Crawford situation. I feel like, when you got two good fighters in there and they both coming to win, I think, it's never easy. It's always a competitive fight. Even if you dominate round for round, it can still be competitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that Terrence Crawford went up against one of the strongest 154 pounders out there that has probably the most talent. I think Madrimov stops Fondora easy. I think that Madrimov gets in there and destroys a lot of 154 pounders out there. I don't know if anybody's seen Madrimov's face after that fight versus Terrence Crawford's face, but Madrimov's face was tattooed. So when Fondora got the win, and I'm gonna bring this up, y'all two still owe me the lab to watch that fight again for punch. So, but Fondora did not win that fight. Tim Tszyu handily dominated Fondora for 12 rounds. It's the same as Bokachuk dominated Virgil Ortiz. It's just not something that you would see on TV in real time, but it was the same style fight. I think that Tim Tszyu versus Terrence Crawford sells better in Australia than it does in the United States. I think that Terrence Crawford at 154 pounds is a nightmare for anybody in that division. And I'm a fan that would love to see every single one of them fights because I'm a huge Terrence Crawford fan.
Speaking of Boachuk and Virgil, I would show some snippets of the punch count coming out on it, but I don't want the live to get copywritten or anything. I don't want to take that risk.
It's all good, man. Listen. It's a hell of an episode, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all boys on the panel. JM, Maniac, Lunatic, Grump. I wish we could have got you up. My boy Bass just popped in.
Hold on, hey Joe, do you gotta go right now?
No.
Because I do got one more subject we can talk about if you had time.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we should talk about Devin Haney and Liam Paro.
Okay. I like that fight. I think that's a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? And I'm going with Liam Paro. I ain't gonna lie. I'm going with Liam Paro. I love Devin. I love what he's doing. I like that he's going back to Australia again to capture another title. I love all that, but I know what I seen in Puerto Rico, and I know what I thought. Super Real Matias was. I mean, this motherfucker could kill somebody in the ring, for God's sake. So I know what I thought he was. And I watched Liam Paro just pretty much dismantle that dude. So
Matias is what you thought he was, but that just
right, yeah.
why Paro is what we know he is at this point.
Right.
Because we can't forget about what he did to Montana Love as well.
Man, that was brutal. That was a brutal knockout. But how does I wonder how him and Devin ends. I say I'll go Liam Paro split decision.
I think it can end a lot of different ways. I think there's so many different possibilities for this fight. I think if Haney's a broken fighter, he can get in there and get dominated. He can get knocked out. Or if he's himself, he can outbox Paro. He can possibly be winning and get hurt. But, it is a good chance that we see another fighter who was good and he get in there and we see him get slept or something. Like, it's a good chance of that because that's what usually happens to fighters. And I think it's on Haney to show if he's different or not.
I agree. JM, man, what you think? Devin Haney, Liam Paro. How you feeling about that fight?
I like the Australian Devin Haney going back home. No, he's not the Australian, but he might as well be as much as he's going over and taking over Australia. Slight edge to Paro, but it's all about Devin Haney's tactics. If he goes in there and is the pure boxer that we know him to be, instead of a guy trying to sit in the pocket, languish in the pocket, and take unnecessary shots, I like his chances too. He could outpoint Paro if he tries to keep him at distance, moves his feet, fight in and out. But I don't know if he can do that at 147 like he used to at 140 like he used to at 135. Because coming in at 130, at the 140 weight class, we saw what he walked in with. He walked in at about 160, I think they said, and you don't see 160-pound fighters dancing all night long, moving for 12 rounds consistently. So I think a stationary Devin is not the best version of himself and could lose to Paro. A moving Devin, twisting and turning, I think he could outpoint him.
I think that, I think Devin can move pretty well at 140. I thought he did well against Regis and even hurt against Ryan. I thought he was, His movements was well. I thought he was a little reckless with his guard at times, and I think a lot of fighters are. It's so common. You would think that they're supposed to do it, but yeah, a lot of them be reckless with their guard. I think he was just reckless with his guard at times, and I think they get a little too dependent on their reflexes. My bad.
No, that's true. Lunatic, man. Same question to you, man. How you feeling about Liam Paro, Devin Haney in Australia?
Well, my opinion on Paro is that when I seen him against Matias, I seen him want to quit in the corner, and then I seen his corner will him through the rest of that onslaught that was coming at him the entire 12 rounds. So for him to come out and beat Matias in Puerto Rico, coming from Australia, maintaining himself through wanting to quit, and then thinking about the Austrian punishment that was taken upon to Devin Haney and seeing him in the next fight, I think that Paro wins. I don't see Devin Haney being able to withstand that onslaught from Matias for 12 rounds. I think that Paro's will, even if he doesn't have the skill behind it, will win him a fight. And we've seen that against Matias in real time.
What was it in the fight that made you think, or that had you thinking that Liam Paro wanted to quit?
We can go to the corner. We can review the fight and go to the corner. I remember him saying it in the corner. I think it was around the 5th round.
Okay. I just want to know that because I didn't, but see, being at the fight, you can't hear shit in the corner anyway. Like it wasn't, I couldn't hear what was going on, but I didn't see that.
This is on the television broadcast.
Exactly. See what I'm saying? I ain't see it again. Like, that's pretty interesting that you peeped that. And if that was the situation and then he fought back like he did, that's even more props to Liam Paro, because man, that was a hell of a performance. In somebody's backyard, that's how you take the belt off the champion. Because he didn't knock him out, but he did beat him down. You know what I mean? Hats off to Liam Paro. I'm looking forward to seeing that fight in December for sure. And
I think Paro do got the skill. I just don't think he got the swagger. So I think it's harder to recognize the skill, but he definitely got it.
Yeah. Now, even the way he was punching in between Matias's combos, when Matias, his typical coming forward style, and he just didn't let him. He didn't let him get off. Like Matias never could get his rhythm the whole fight. He never could get it. And that's props to Liam Paro, man. You know what I mean? He kept them combinations in his face. He kept moving. Like, I mean, he had Matias in there damn near looking like an amateur, bro. It was crazy. I didn't understand.
And it's just a question. I don't really got no side of it.
Yeah.
What's a tougher challenge, Matias or the Austrian? Ryan.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I say Ryan is because you shared the ring with Ryan numerous times, so he got a pretty good feeling of how you coming, what you trying to do. I don't know if you shared the ring with a Super Real Matias, maybe in sparring, maybe, but he's actually fought Ryan numerous times. You know what I mean, from the amateurs and into the pros, so he's kind of familiar with him. So I would think that would be harder. Somebody that's more familiar with you than someone who's not. That don't know what you gonna come when you coming with, what you gonna bring to the table. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a more difficult competitor, in my opinion. But
one reason why I'm not really big on picking a side, because both camps supported, the channel. So
shout out to him.
I think it's just a good fight for the fans, though. Regardless, though, especially if Devin Haney come back and be himself. Whoever wins, I know we gonna get a good fight.
Yes, sir. I mean, hey, look, we got Grump. I don't know if you down there, if you want to come up and give your opinion, man. We love to have you up here. We always love chopping it up with you. I know you said you was you had some things going on over there in California. But if you got some time to give your opinion real quick, we love to have you up here. If not, you know, we gonna you gonna do it. You know how they tell you, stay safe, and we gonna wrap it up. You know what I mean? But anyway, like I say, JM Maniac Lunatic, man, I appreciate y'all boys' time. I appreciate the panel for coming up here, giving us y'all thoughts on the subject matter that we brought today. You know what I mean? As always, my boy
You're
Ace.
welcome.
Ace Boogie, man. You know what I mean? You know how we do, bro. We catch y'all probably Monday. We gonna do this Monday and Friday. So we're gonna come after the fights this weekend, kind of, you know, give our point of view on the fights from this weekend, and then
Dates we get, see
you know what I
what
mean, and keep it like that. So we appreciate y'all for stopping through, man. It's another episode of Punch Count. Your boy Joe Prophet, my boy Ace.
and we
Hell
out.
yeah, Ace been lying, Ace been everything, you know. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace.